March 2020 was a scary time for probably just about everybody. And I, like many other people, was furloughed from my job, and I had no idea if and when I might possibly be going back to work. With no income and monthly bills to pay, needless to say, I was quite terrified at the time. However, I did try to make the most of my situation by keeping myself busy and learning new things while the whole world was under lockdown. One of the things that I tried my hand at was coding. Now, I had tried to learn to code before in the past, but a lack of motivation always ended up killing my efforts. But now, with no job and an uncertain future, I felt that I was in dire need of a new skill that could be useful. And so I sat down and I learned a bit of Python. Python is honestly probably the easiest coding language to learn, though it is still quite useful. Now, honestly, I'm not a master coder or anything like that, and during lockdown, I did learn how to use Python, but only in a fairly rudimentary manner. Still, it was good enough for me to learn how to make a very basic quote unquote video game. And I say video game with heavy emphasis on air quotes, because this game I made doesn't actually have any graphics. It's a text-based adventure that runs in a very simple console window. It's by no means amazing, but I tried to pack it with an engaging story, puzzles, and mystery. Now, I don't think this game would ever win any awards or something like that or garner any attention, but despite its very basic nature, I am proud of this game. I am quite proud of it. It actually does work, and I think it's fairly fun too. At least if you enjoy reading books and horror and some of these things like I do. I basically made the type of game I would like to play, and to be honest, there's probably not a very big audience for it, but for me personally, I really enjoy it, and I guess that's kind of what matters, right? And on top of that, I filled it with some horror references from like classic horror games and stuff like that, so that's kind of fun too. Now, really, I never intended to become an actual game developer or something. I really was just practicing my coding skills. But still, it was a fun experience, and I left the ending somewhat open-ended in the hopes that maybe someday I would make a more robust sequel to this little game. However, by May 2020, I was actually called back to work, and that was pretty much the end of my coding adventure. Of course, I was relieved to get my job back, and I felt very lucky, but in all honesty, looking back, I kind of wish I didn't, because it would have forced me to push myself harder. And who knows? Maybe I actually would have gotten really good with coding. Maybe I would have made another, better, more fleshed out game. I don't know. The thing is, as soon as I went back to work, I lost all that free time, and more importantly, I lost the motivation to keep coding and keep learning. I really wish I'd never stopped. And it's like when I had that like safety blanket of like a stable income taken away from me, suddenly it's like that was it. I became so much more motivated to do things. And actually like I don't know, it's sort of like filled me with this kind of determination to do things. And so in a way it's like I know I don't know if it's really a saying or not, but something that I've always felt to be true is that sometimes in order to make progress in life, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I didn't come up with that saying or anything, but I don't really know who did. But I think this was one of those things where I was put in a very uncomfortable situation, and I think I actually, like in those like couple months I was off work, I think I learned more than I had in the previous year. I got more stuff done and I did more interesting things in that time cooped up alone at home than I did in like a whole year of just working a regular job and this and that. And looking back now, I'm honestly kind of tempted to start learning again, even though it's so time consuming. Because now I don't have a full-time job anymore again, but this time by choice because I'm going to college and everything, and it's kind of a different situation, but at the same time I find myself feeling more passionate about things. So I'm gonna leave this up to y'all. Do you think I should start coding again? Should I make a sequel to my game? Leave your answer in the comments, please. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just thought I'd talk about the kinds of things quarantine encouraged me to do. And I'm going to leave you now here with a playthrough video of my game called An Odd Request. Download link is in the description if you're a weirdo like me and you enjoy these types of weird old school style games. Anyway, have a good one. Hello everybody, and welcome to my little playthrough here. I hope this isn't too scuffed. I don't usually record like this, so hopefully it's not that bad. But this is the game right here, An Odd Request, just sitting here on my desktop. And as you can see, like I said, it's just a little simple text box. But let's get into it. So this game really has two parts. The first part is kind of like it's like a choose your own adventure novel. Or kind of like Fallout RPG dialogue. Like you have, see, I'll let you read through this here on your own pace. Hopefully it's at a readable resolution. And basically you can select your options. And then the second half is kind of like a little adventure puzzle type of thing. Overall, the game's not too long though. But I'm just leaving it kind of like minimized here instead of like maximizing it on my screen, just because I feel like it looks kind of weird maximized because it's just all, well, I don't know, maybe I'll do it anyway. Yeah, I guess it's not terrible. Anyway, I will read through some of this, I suppose. Your coffee mug casts long shadows across the pale table that you drum your fingers against. The air is filled with the chatter of people, the clinking of silverware, and the scent of cheap coffee. The distant sound of rock music pours lazily from overhead speakers as waitresses make small talk. The seat opposite yours lies cold and vacant, still waiting to be filled. Time passes slowly as you scan your surroundings, looking for her among the patrons. You fidget in your seat as you anxiously check the time again. You sigh, wondering if she'll actually show. Rachel was always flaky. You look through the window to the right, watching the cars pass by as you consider leaving. But before you can leave, you look up to see a tall, auburn-haired woman stride over and take the red vinyl bench seat across from you. Hey, she smiles at you, the orange glow of the sun catching her features through the diner's window. Sorry I'm late. I know this was short notice. You can see the wrinkles of concern in her face as she speaks. But I'm really glad you could come. I really need your help. And then we have 4 choices as to what you can respond with. Don't worry about it. Anything to help an old friend out. What do you need? You want to order something? You don't look too good. This better be good. What do you want? Right, so you can be like nice. You can be an asshole. Or you can say, you know what? On second thought, I gotta be somewhere else. And, you know, there's always like that one stupid option. I'll just like end the game early for some reason, you know, so we can say D. You know, second thought, I gotta be somewhere else. Rachel's cautious demeanor immediately turns into a mixture of confusion and annoyance. Hey, wait a minute, you just got here. You're telling me you can't give me a couple minutes just to listen? I know we haven't been in touch very much, but this is really important to me. Just give me a minute, please. And then you can say, okay, alright, fine, but... Or, you know, you can, once again, you can be stupid and end the game immediately. Right? You hastily get up from the vinyl booth and march across the checkered black and white floor towards the exit. Rachel scoffs at you as you go. I can't believe this. Really leaving? You keep walking to the door, ignoring her cries of derision. You push the heavy double doors open and exit into the brisk autumn afternoon. Your journey ends here before it even begins. You can't help but wonder what exactly you just walked away from. Restart, and then you can say yes or no. And so if you type something else, like if I just type S, it'll actually end the game. I don't think it's supposed to do that. Whoops. Okay, so yeah, there's bugs in this. Turns out there's bugs in this. Oh well. Anyway. It's not supposed to do that. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say, like, enter another option. Like, for example, here, if I just put like H, it'll say use only A, B, C, or D, and then it'll prompt again. Anyway, so let's just go forward with the story. A look of worry crosses Rachel's face as she begins to speak again. Look, I know we haven't seen each other since high school, but I have a problem that I think could use your skill with the supernatural. Rachel seems to struggle with her words, her nervous demeanor matching her unkempt hair and hastily thrown together looking outfit. You remember Diane from school, right? Then of course you have the responses. Yeah, of course I do. We shared chemistry class together. So sad what happened. Or you could once again be an asshole and be like, wasn't she that chick that hung herself in the abandoned church? How could I forget? Or no, I don't remember. Or once again, there's the option to leave. Once again, this thing I put together is a little silly and kind of ridiculous. The idea that you can just like say and do stupid things just kind of baked into it, because I don't know. I like chaos in my games, I suppose. Anyway, so we picked C. She was in our chemistry class with us, and I'm sure you saw her around school too. I was good friends with her, but I don't think you were, huh? Everyone talked about it after she took her own life. It's such a shame. Rachel sighs. The bags under her eyes seem more pronounced now. Her words have an air of confusion surrounding them. It's a bit odd you don't remember her, but I suppose it was all years ago, in a different time. Anyway, like I said, I need help. This is probably gonna sound crazy, but I think she's still here. I think she's trying to talk to me. Rachel looks over to you, clearly disturbed. I keep seeing weird shadows, things keep moving around my apartment. I hear her name in passing whispers, it's everywhere, and I can't explain it. I know you used to experiment with occult rituals. I know you are very knowledgeable about this kind of stuff. Can you help me figure this out? And you say, what am I gonna do? Ghost hunting isn't my thing, I'm not a teen anymore. How can you be sure this presence is her, not something else? Or, okay, I'll help, but I don't wear it for free. Once again, we'll pick C. How can you be sure this presence is her? Rachel's somber gaze rests squarely on you. Well, she actually stayed at my old home when her parents kicked her out. That was right before she, Rachel's clearly struggling to keep herself straight. I actually still have a couple of things she left behind, and this might sound weird, but it's the smell. That's how I know it's her. I can smell her perfume whenever I see these shadows. It's undeniably her. She sniffles a bit, but continues. I'm sorry, it's just I'm dealing with a lot. We were really close, And I thought I'd gotten past her, then this starts happening out of nowhere. I didn't know what else to do. I'm just glad you came. I'll explain my plan to you. So here's my idea. There's this ritual that I read about for contacting the dead. It's really simple. But the thing is, I need someone who's more in tune with their spirituality to act as the conduit. That's you. Rachel's eyes wander for a moment before becoming laser focused on you. Her gaze is very intense. I remember we used to do the circles together. I saw how passionate you were. I know you can do this. She slides. Oh, just like old times. I know this whole thing is very strange, but I don't know who else to ask. She slides her arm across the ivory table, reaching towards yours. Will you help me? You can say, okay, I will, but I hope you know what you're doing. These things can be dangerous. Or you could say, it's been too long. I've lost my touch. I can't help you with this. Or, you're insane. No way I'm going to do any ritual with you. I'll probably wake up in a bathtub missing my kidneys. Spoiler alert, option C is probably more accurate. I mean, okay, nobody loses their kidneys, but anyway, we'll go with A. So here we get a bunch more text. Rachel chuckles, her face brightened with amusement. Of course I know what I'm doing. I know what precautions we need to take, and besides, you're pretty much a pro at this, remember? We're gonna do just fine, trust me. Rachel leans back in the booth, her arms outspread. A smile ran from cheek to cheek across her face. You're a bit puzzled by just how excited she seems to be now. Your quizzical expression betrays your silence, and Rachel sits up a little bit more. She breathes a sigh of relief. Yeah, I know I'm probably getting a bit too worked up by all this. It's just that, well, this has been really bothering me for a while. Okay, side note, there is some formatting errors. I always had problems with, like, formatting all these text blocks correctly. Once again, this game is not perfect. It does work, though. It does work. It's not perfect. Anyway, this has been really bothering me for a while. I was really afraid you were going to say no. I hope you understand that I really do appreciate you helping me with this. I don't know what else I could do. To you, it might not seem like much, but I think it'll help me a lot. She pauses briefly, taking in the environment. The whispered conversations and clinking of silverware drifts through the diner. The rich aroma of coffee soaks the air. This is a real nice place. Hey, you didn't want to eat, did you? She asks. You shrug your shoulders. I'll be okay. Well, if it's alright with you, can we go now? Yeah, that's fine, you reply. Great, I've got everything I need already, so just follow me to my place, okay? You nod in agreement as the two of you get out of your booth and exit the diner. The evening sun paints your vision in bursts of orange as the sun slowly crawls down the mountains in the distance. The two of you enter your separate vehicles. Rachel pulls out of the cramped parking lot, and you follow behind. Okay, and so soon we're getting to, like, the second part of the game. Not quite yet, but we're, like, kind of getting to the transition, right? Okay, so the sun slowly descends as the two of you make your way to Rachel's abode. You arrive about 30 minutes later. Rachel's apartment rests firmly in the center of a drab, dreary, tan-clad row of buildings 4 stories high. After parking, the two of you make your way up a nearby set of middle stairs. The tension in the air is thick. Rachel's posture is stiff as she ascends. The stairs make a steady, hollow clang as you climb higher and higher. Rachel turns left on the 3rd floor, and after passing several dark green doors, comes to one labeled 302. Well, this is it, she states matter-of-factly. She pulls her keys out, and after a brief pause, she unlocks the door and enters. You follow closely behind, and the first thing you encounter is the strong smell of lemon. The apartment is somewhat small but open in design. Upon entering the front door, you find yourself in the living room, sporting a black couch and a small entertainment center against the wall. In front of you is the kitchen, which includes a white linoleum floor, several cabinets, countertops, and appliances, and a small, round table with 2 chairs facing each other. Rachel approaches the farthest chair and puts her arm on the table. Here we are. Please, take a seat. Rachel's tone is soothing, yet firm. She gazes at you intently. And you can just sit at the table, you say, wow, this place is pretty nice. How long have you lived here? About a year or so, Rachel replies. It's not much, but I certainly call it home. She contorts her face into a slight frown. And now I can sense something else calls it home, too. I think I can feel it right now, actually. It's here. Please, sit down. We should strike while the iron is hot, so to speak. She sits at the far end of the table and beckons for you to come over. So we sit at the table. You close the door behind you and join Rachel at the wooden table. With the two of you now seated, she begins to rifle around in the purse she keeps at her side, searching intently for something. Give me a minute, I need to grab a couple things, she says, focusing on the bag. After a moment, she pulls 2 things from her bag, a vial filled with white liquid and a battered, red-colored book titled Crimson. The rest of the book's title is damaged and unreadable. Rachel gingerly lays the 2 items out on the table and clears her throat. Okay, so here's how this is gonna work. You're gonna drink this liquid while I read from the book. The idea is that the words in this book will draw out whatever it is that's in this room. And that force will be captured by you. You will be able to channel this spirit to communicate with it. And then we can find out what's really going on. Rachel smiles at you. You ready? And so you can say, what is this liquid you want me to do? Or, let's do it. Or, I'm not drinking that. So, say A. What is this liquid? Rachel picks up the glass vial and holds it up for you to see. It'll open up your mind, make it easier to be receptive to the spirits, and it enhances your mental state. So it's drugs, you ask? It's plant-based. You can call it whatever you want, but it's not going to hurt you. I've used it before. Rachel puts the vial back down on the table closer to you. Trust me, this is going to be fine. You ready to do this? And so you can either drink the liquid or don't drink the liquid. Once again, spoiler alert, if you don't drink it, it basically ends the game, you know? So we'll choose A. So then here's this whole thing. You pick up the vial, uncork it, and quickly consume its contents. The liquid is thick and oily, and has a bitter, herbal taste to it. You wince as you down it, and exhale deeply upon completion, giving Rachel a dirty look. She shrugs at you. Look, I never said it would go down easy. Let's get started. She cracks open the old tome, and the smell of old paper is very strong. You notice very quickly that your vision begins to swirl, and you can feel your center of balance shifting. You hold onto the table for support as Rachel's words begin to pour over you. Rachel places both hands onto the edge of the book and closes her eyes as she speaks. And then there's some Latin in here, which I'm not going to try to repeat because I can't speak Latin and I can't really pronounce it either. Anyway, a lot of this stuff has references to various things. Some very subtle, some not so subtle. Some of them, to be honest, I haven't played this game in a long time, and I made it, you know, at this point almost 2 years ago. So actually, some of the references I don't really remember. Anyway, her words continue, and she speaks in a low, menacing voice. You notice the shadows around the room begin to dance. Your vision blurs, and Rachel's dark words are hardly heard, as if she was really far away. Your limbs feel heavy, and before long, you lose your balance and fall to the floor unconscious. You wake up an unknown amount of time later, your head pounding as you pick yourself up off the floor. Rachel is nowhere to be found. You seem to be alone for now. Press enter to continue. And this is where the second part of the game begins, the little puzzle/adventure. You're in the kitchen. 2 chairs lie strewn about the room, and the table is pushed up against the wall. It appears there was some kind of struggle. The room is dimly lit with half-melted candles. Moonlight pours in from the east through the small kitchen window, shrouded in wine-colored drapes. To the south lies the bedroom door. The bathroom door is to the north, and the living room is to the west. So then, basically, there's a few things you can basically choose to go to locations and search things, right? I remember there's like multiple ways to win. Like, okay, basically the goal now is to escape the apartment, and there's multiple ways to do it. I don't know if I remember all of them actually, which is why I wanted to do this now, so that I can like replay it and you can like kind of see it as I'm doing it, because even though I made this game is like a long time ago, I don't remember everything. Anyway, so let's search the kitchen. The kitchen is somewhat messy. A cluttered spice rack sits on the counter, packed with glass bottles. A knife block sits on one end of the counters, and the fridge is covered in post-it notes. The walls of the kitchen and dining area are mostly barren, except for a single large painting hanging above the table. The drawers are filled with many expensive-looking pots and pans. The pantry is filled with baking supplies and pasta. Beside the window is a small herb garden. So you can examine the painting, examine the knife block, take an herb for the garden. So we'll just do each thing. Examine the painting. The painting is of a woman clad in white with a ferocious fire climbing up her legs. She is surrounded by robed people, some of which are reading from various books. The shadow of a much larger figure lurks behind the woman. The painting has a caption, which reads as follows. 7 watch onward, 3 recite the cant, 8 bestowed the rites, 1 birthed in flames. Okay, so I have to remember that. 7381, because you know that's going to be important. 7381, I'll try to remember that. Well, I can always scroll back and see it, because you can see the entire game here. Yeah, anyway. So you go back to the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. Kitchen is messy, etc., etc. Examine the knife block. There was a knife here. It's gone now. Oh, too many references. Anyway, so there's no knife. You take a herb from the garden. You take a single green leafy herb from the garden and consume it. You're not sure exactly what that green herb was, but you immediately feel better upon ingesting it. Your head is hurting a bit less now, and you have regained some of your composure. your sanity has increased to 4. So you have like a health count, you have like health here, although really what it is like a timer. Later you're gonna see there's like you have to escape the apartment in a certain amount of time, basically, before your sanity goes to 0. So that's just like a little healing Easter egg. So we go back, so that's everything in the kitchen. We're not going to go to the bedroom yet, because that is where there's danger. I remember that. So we're going to go to the bathroom. You're in the bathroom. It's fairly small, with the standard amenities of a sink, toilet, bathtub, and shower. A window to the north overlooks the apartment complex. The door back to the kitchen is to the south. So we search the bathroom. The bathroom is very mundane. There's a medicine cabinet above the sink. And that window. Perhaps it could be an escape route? So we'll search the medicine cabinet. There's numerous medications and oral care products in the cabinet, but what really draws your attention is a small brass key labeled desk sitting on the top shelf. You take the key. There's nothing else here that is of use to you now. We go back. So we examine the bathtub. The bathtub is full of dirty water. Remove the plug? Yes. You reach your hand into the nasty cold water and pull the plug. The water drains slowly. Eventually, the tub drains completely. It is now empty. You're not sure exactly what you were expecting to happen. Once again, this game is full of references. If you've ever played the original Resident Evil, you'd probably remember the bathtub zombie, and so that was supposed to be a reference to that. Same thing with the there was a knife here, it's gone now. It was like a reference to Silent Hill 2, I believe. Anyway, go to the window. The window is shut. Try to open it. We'll say yes. You pry at the window, but it seems like it's jammed shut. Looking through it, you can see that there is a large piece of wood wedged between the two sliding halves of the window, preventing it from being slid open from the inside. You need to break the open with something heavy. So you can try to break the window. Try as you might, you can't break the window without a heavy object to help you. So then we can go back. And we'll go back. Okay. So we go back to the kitchen. So we went to the bathroom. Let's go to the living room now. You're in the living room. A black couch spans the center of the room, facing south towards an entertainment center with a large flat-screen TV. Excuse me. A lamp sits on a side table pushed into the northwest corner of the room. The room is otherwise unadorned. The front door is to the west, the study is to the north, and the kitchen is to the east. So first we'll search the living room. You don't find much in this room. In fact, it's probably the plainest room in the apartment. You can tell by the dust on the entertainment center that Rachel doesn't spend a lot of time here. Search couch cushion. You thoroughly search the couch cushions, but only find lint. Back. Okay, we're going to examine entertainment center. On the shelves of the dusty furniture lie many curios and trinkets which hold little meaning to you. Most of it looks like junk, but on the bottom shelf of the entertainment center sits a strange box. The box looks to be made of silver and is inlaid with sapphires. Serpents of all kind are pictured on the box, and two long snakes run alongside the two sides of the box's hinge. Open the box. The box will not open. Surprise, surprise. In the very center of the box, where the two halves meet, is a perfectly round hole surrounded by the image of a large serpent with its tail in its mouth. So we go back. So nothing in the entertainment in the living room, so we'll go to the front door. I wonder if we can open it. Front door is made of dark wood. Its hinges look heavy and worn. The whole door looks old, perhaps older than the rest of the apartment. Will you try to open it? Try to open the door. The door is locked. You notice that the doorknob is exquisitely engraved with the image of a serpent devouring its own tail. So now we are going to go to the study. You're in the study. It's lit with cozy candlelight and devoid of windows. See, I'm kind of cheating here a little bit, because if you go into the bedroom first, that's kind of like what activates the whole timer. That gives you a sense of urgency of like exploring and stuff. And that's like the only way you can really lose the game is basically if that timer runs out, and so I'm kind of cheating by avoiding that part, but you have to go in there in order to get key items to beat the game anyway. I just thought I'd say that. It's lit with cozy candlelight and devoid of windows. A large oak desk sits against the north wall, covered in documents, file folders, and books. A large bookshelf, standing nearly floor to ceiling, is against the east wall. The west wall has a large corkboard mounted to it with many objects pinned to it. So we'll search the study. The room is filled to the brim with books and files. It looks like Rachel was deeply researching something. Despite not having seen her much for years, you know Rachel was never exactly a big book reader. This seems uncharacteristic of her. Where will you look first? Let's examine the desk. The desk is unorganized. Many books and letters clutter the surface. Most of the books seem to be vaguely religious in their writings, talking about God and various religious practices and symbols. They're not from any religion that you've heard of before. They have strange titles like Lost Memories, Otherworld Laws, and Book of Ideals, among others. Many of the letters on the desk appear to be Rachel's notes and tasks. Many of them mention a group, simply referred to as the Order. Based on the writings, it appears that Rachel is interacting with this group, but her involvement in it cannot be fully known. Many of the notes are written in shorthand and reference things you don't know about. You also notice the desk has a drawer. Open desk. You unlock the desk and find only a single item, a pyramid-shaped triangular object. Its three sides are each made up of 4 triangles that form together to make the larger shape. The triangular object has a significant weight to it. As you pick it up, the object makes your hand tingle. This object's true nature is unknown, but you should be careful with it. Nonetheless, you decide to take it with you. Okay, so now we're going to examine the bookshelf. And, by the way, we open the desk with the key. We get the bathroom, obviously. The bookshelf is lined with many books on the occult, arcana, and various religious texts. Many of the books seem to be about taboo subjects. Most of the books look very old. Rachel always liked ghost stories, but she never seemed to be the type to be into most of the books shown here. Go back. We'll examine the corkboard. The board is covered in many photographs. The ones that stand out are a photo of a vial of white liquid, a photo of a crimson book, and a photo of you with the word neophyte written underneath it. Some of the other photos are a bit more abstract, photos of strange red symbols, paintings, and people you don't recognize. Rachel had obviously been planning this for some time. Whatever she tried to accomplish, though, you're still unsure of. So we're going to leave the room. We are going to go back to the kitchen and into the bedroom. You're in the bedroom. A flickering lamp on a bedside table provides dim lighting. The window resides on the south side of the room, draped in black curtains and shuttered. This room is very cold, almost unnaturally so. The kitchen door lies to the north, the closet is to the west. You can faintly hear a sickly wheezing and croaking noise coming from the closet. The noise turns your veins to ice. We're going to search the bedroom before we go to the obvious danger in the closet. The bedroom is sparsely furnished, and there isn't too much to find here except for a large safe tucked in the corner of the room. There's a large brown dresser against the east wall, while a bed dressed in wine-red sheets is on the south end of the room. A laptop sits on a desk near the closet. Posters and paintings cover the walls. Everything is very neat and tidy. We'll examine the safe. You find a safe here, sitting about 2 feet high with a keypad. Perhaps you, the master of unlocking, can crack the code. Type in the code and hit enter, go back. Okay, what was the painting? That's quite a bit back here. 7381. That's what it was. 7381. Easy to cheat. 7381. The safe door swings open to reveal a large piece of stone, inscribed with runes you cannot read. You pick up the stone, noting its weight is substantial and its edges are sharp. You find nothing else in the safe and look back to your surroundings. Great, we got a rock. Okay, we'll examine the wall posters. The walls of the bedroom are mostly covered with posters from late 90s and early 2000s Japanese horror games. Rachel was always a fan of those types of games. Interesting, I wonder if Somebody's projecting. Anyways, see, check the laptop. You sit at the desk and open up the laptop. It turns on for a brief moment, only for the screen to go black. It appears the battery is dead. So we're going to go back. And we're going to go to the closet. You slowly approach the closet door, listening as the terrible sound gets louder. It sounds like someone struggling to breathe, gasping for air. The doorknob is ice cold. As you turn it, the sound stops suddenly. You enter the pitch black room gingerly and fumble around for the light. Finally, you find it, and as the light flickers to life, you see what the source of noise was. A skinny, pale person. At least, it looks like a person. They're wearing a heavy leather apron, and their head appears to be wrapped in layers of burlap cloth, which is covered in layers of stitches forming a hood tightly bound to the creature's head. Its skin is sickly looking, its limbs skinny and frail. It twitches and shakes as it turns towards you. The creature was lying on the ground and slowly pulls itself up as it struggles to breathe. Horrified, you run back into the bedroom, slamming the door behind you. Not sure of your next move, you take a second to catch your breath. You notice now that the creature does not seem to be following you. In fact, you can't hear any noises coming from the closet at all. Is it even still in there? Was it even real? So now you notice the bedroom text, but there's a new line. It says, you can feel dark presence lurking around you just out of sight. And so that's kind of the timer mechanism that we have now. So we go to the closet. You hear labored breathing in the darkness. You are in the closet. The room is small and tightly packed with hanging clothes and boxes. What a mess. Search the closet. You rifle through the boxes and find mostly junk, but you do come upon two potentially useful items. First, a curious-looking silver coin engraved with the image of a serpent eating its own tail. Second, you find a long length of sturdy rope that you decide may come in handy later. After finding nothing else of interest, you stop looking. Hear labored breathing in the darkness. So we're going to go back to the bedroom. The room is ice cold. The wheezing noises are closer now. We're going to go to the kitchen. You feel as if something is right behind you. So now there's two ways for us to get out. We have the rock we got out of the safe and the rope we got out of the closet that we can use to climb out the window. Or we can use that weird coin we found, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go to the living room. As you open the next door, the pale demon is in front of you. It twitches and shakes. The triangular object you picked up earlier grows warm in your pocket and seemingly hums to life. The object seems hungry. You can feel an unnatural presence surrounding it. The creature seems hesitant. So you can either use the weird pyramid you found in the study or not. If you don't, you basically just get attacked. You throw the creature off of you, and it your sanity goes down by 1, and it resets the timer. But let's say we used it. You fish the pyramid out of... Oh, wait, no, this creates an ending, too. Dude, I totally forgot about that. Okay, well, we just got an ending. You fish the pyramid out of your pocket. The creature immediately recoils as you raise the object in your palm. To your surprise, the pyramid fills with light, and you are compelled to raise it even higher. Suddenly, a beam of white light shoots out from the object and directly strikes the creature before you. It steps back twice before falling to its knees and then collapses onto the ground. The cube... Wait, it's a triangle. Oh, God. Errors. There were errors in this. The triangle is hot now, almost too hot to hold, but before you try to put it down, a second beam of light shoots out from the triangle, this time striking you in the chest. You're instantly filled with warmth. Your limbs and joints tingle with life. You feel as if you are filled to the brim with energy, and any pain you had fades away. Power is intoxicating. There's something else there too now. A presence you hadn't felt before is now in your conscious. But you welcome this new presence with open arms. It speaks now of impossible things, of vast wealth and infinite power, of a new world of paradise and the second coming of God. You smile, your destiny is now clear. Without another word, you walk back to the front door of the apartment, and with a whisper, it opens before you. You return to your car and get in, noting that Rachel's car is not there. But that's fine. You're sure that you'll catch up with her sooner or later. You leave the apartment complex behind. Paradise awaits. You have escaped the apartment, but at what cost? Okay, this is funny because I remember writing that now, but like I totally forgot about the object ending. This is ending 3. There's 3 different endings basically, and this is one of them, and I actually completely forgot about this ending. That's kind of hilarious. Anyway, this is basically the game. So as you can see, it is very rudimentary. It's not perfect. There's some errors to it. And I don't know how long this took, but it doesn't take too long to play through. Obviously, if you want to get the other endings, you can. Now, I basically combed through everything because I wanted to, and a lot of these little details I put in are not really important to the game, but you know, it's like it's an interactive story basically, and I designed it to have kind of an open end to it because I always thought maybe I'll make a sequel, maybe I'll make another one or something like that, and like I said previously, I still kind of want to as well. But anyway, if you want to download this game, I'll have the link to it in the description. Once again, I know it's a weird game. It's very unorthodox. It's not even really a video game because it doesn't have any graphics, but I don't know. I think it's fun. I enjoyed making it a lot, and I actually enjoyed playing through it again. So you can choose yes or no, and it'll basically start over again, right? And then you can just go through it. I mean, if you really want to, you can just sit here and just like spam through it and just right and get through it really quickly. Anyway, like say if you really wanted to just look, I overloaded it. I've never just sat here and like played around with the code very much, but like I said, it's a very simple game. It's super duper simple, but it was fun to make, and I don't know, maybe someday I'll make another one and fix some of the errors in it. I don't know. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. That's pretty much all I have for you today. Have a good one, and I'm out.